Hi, how's it going? So I recently got involved in a discussion on a martial arts forum. Yes, I know. In my defence, the topic being discussed was the speed of the Tai Chi form, which I have a little bit of experience with, and it's a question that came up recently with some of my Tai Chi students. What's the correct speed to do the form? That aside, what came out of the discussion was that it sort of developed into talk about breathing, because my take on this is, if you want to control the speed of your movement, you can control the speed of your breathing, because your movement follows the breath. As it turned out, surprisingly enough, not everyone agreed with this, and there were some people saying no, the breathing should follow the movement. I think of all the arts I've trained in, all the arts I've studied, Systema has the most in-depth understanding of breathing, and the important thing is that's not just on a theoretical level, because of course you can get into a lot of theory discussion on this sort of subject in some other arts. What I found with Systema is you have that depth, but it's also very practical as well, extremely practical. So what I thought I'd do today is look at why we breathe the way we do, why I say that the movement should follow the breathing, and give a couple of practical examples. Now, of course, in 5 or 10 minutes I can only really just scratch the surface of Systema breathwork. If you want more detailed instruction, click the join button below, and that will tell you how you can access our membership channel. I think there's close on 100 uploads there now on all different aspects of Systema training. We're just coming to the end of our latest series on figure 8 work for the upper body, for the hands and the elbows. And of course, if you're on the membership channel, you can send in questions direct to me and we'll video the answers for you. So 2 things: why should your movement follow the breathing? And the second question that came up was, how do you breathe when you're punching? You know, if you punch, you should exhale, right? So you get that kind of thing. So that's something I'm going to look at as well. So this first idea about does breathing follow movement or movement follow breathing, we're going to try a little experiment. Aaron just volunteered for.
As one does.
So what I want you to do is shut your eyes. When something happens, you open your eyes and you start hitting the pads. Okay? That's it.
Okay.
That's it. Just hit the pads a few times and then that's it. But you start with your eyes. So, what happened? What did you feel when that sound happened?
Heard, took a breath, moved.
Right. Heard, took a breath, moved. So the movement followed the breathing.
Yeah.
Okay? So this is very important, because when you train, everything is the right conditions. So, you know, here, if I throw up just a punch, you can move and then take a breath, right? But your body's under no pressure there. The nervous system is all under your control.
Still breath.
Right? If something happens, if we get spiked, everyone I've met anyway goes, there's an inhale and that. It's the amygdala, right? That's how we're wired. So how can my movement then work? If I'm inhaling, then the movement comes with the inhale. Then when I exhale, I release that movement. I can't inhale and hold it and start moving and then breathe. Well, you can, but it's not natural. It doesn't feel right. So if you're training to be natural, it makes perfect sense for me that if something alarming happens and you inhale, then you move, then you exhale, and you start moving again. If you inhale and hold it, right, you're stuck in place. That's a flinch. It's just a basic flinch. So if you know how to use the breathing, you unlock the flinch. So now you exhale and move out of the way, and he's still got his good posture. He's still ready to do something. So this is why for our training, you work from the breathing. The movement follows the breathing. The breathing doesn't follow the movement. That's the idea. Of course, that's a perfect world. You know, things might happen at times and whatever. But if you're always working off of this flinch response, which is a good starting point, because we will have a flinch response. Not the body doesn't work that way unless you force it to. And why would you try and rewire your body to do something that's totally unnatural? It's like I'm going to turn my car into a speedboat. Can be done, right? You can put outboard motor on it and you can do stuff, and you can or you can just get a speedboat. You know, your body's wired to work a certain way, so that is what you work with. You breathe, and then the movement follows that. Okay, so the second thing, and again I'm covering these very briefly today just to cover them, is this idea of how do you then breathe when you punch. And someone on that clip put up a boxer talking about this, and of course with the boxer they'll do something like so you get that exhale when you breathe, a short sharp exhale. That's good for boxing, right? And you know, boxing's very efficient and very good for boxing. However, if I'm facing more than one person, if I'm in a situation that again I don't really have control of because there's no boundaries, how long can I keep this up for? Am I limited to 3 punches? What if I've got to do another one there? At some point I've got to inhale, right? When I inhale then, that's when I'm vulnerable. That's when the other guy, now you, right, you come in, and this is how a lot of sparring works, right? And you come to me, right? That's how things often work, this exchange. I don't want an exchange. I want to get the job done, and that's it. The more time I'm in this situation, the more dangerous it can become. So someone then said to me, well, how do you breathe and do 4 punches? Out breath. In, so 1 exhale. I'll make a noise so you can hear. Might be more than 4 punches. My maths isn't very good. So then I learned to breathe as one movement, and these punches are one movement. Rather than punch, 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 3 movements, this for me is one movement. So with Systema, rather than thinking of, like I often think in some of the Chinese arts, it's like you're firing a cannon. You said like your 5 ancestors, right? With this, I'm not tying my breathing into one technique. If I have to exhale every time I punch, then I've got to inhale when I'm not punching. If I breathe and move, then I can continue to move while I'm breathing. I'll do the same on the inhale. So the point is, it doesn't affect my power because I don't have to go and put that focus in. The power is in my movement, how I'm striking, and of course the breathing is playing a part, but that's not necessarily just where the power is coming from. Right, so there's obvious gaps. You develop a rhythm and there's obvious gaps which of course people will take advantage of. When I'm working, if I'm doing my exhale or inhale, I'll go slow. There should be no gap in my movement. I'm not doing this. Because it's being nice to me there. If you respond as I'm doing it. And this is why people who train that way, you're working to your own rhythm, but he might have other ideas. I've got to work to his rhythm and then impose my movement upon that. I can only do that if I know how to breathe, and then my movement follows my breathing. Okay, so first reaction if something is happening is that flinch, that inhale, but then I unlock it and that allows me to flow into my movement. Okay, well I hope that explains something about why we breathe the way we do in Systema, which to me it's a very natural form of breathing. It's the way people would breathe normally in stressful situations if they were left to their own devices. Of course, what happens is we get all sort of things imprinted upon our mind, whether that's social or cultural or whatever it is. A lot of fear can come in, and that sort of connection between the breath and the body gets, well, sometimes totally broken, sometimes obscured. So one of the aims of Systema really is to clean all that stuff away and really re-establish that connection with your primal self, if you like. So as I say, to me, this is a very natural approach to breathing and extremely practical as well. As always, do let me know if you've got any questions or suggestions. I'm quite happy for people to disagree with me, by the way, but if you do disagree with me, show me something. You know, it's easy to put a comment on social media or on YouTube, oh, that's a load of crap, which happens from time to time. And you go to the channel and the person has no videos of their own up. So, fine, disagree with me, but do it with some intelligence, please. Otherwise, I'm not even going to bother responding. Okay, that's it. Please like, share and subscribe, and of course, click the join button for details of the membership channel. Take care.